Yes. Your quiz is going to be this paper, blank, and you're going to fill it out. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the way that if I'm going to take the quiz, the way that I would go through the circle. Okay? So it starts with, obviously, a circle. And the first thing I'm going to deal with is there are XY axes. It's the X and the Y axis is what it is. All right? And I'm going to make those purple. And then the ones I'm going to do first are the outside of the 3 in a row. You see that each quadrant has 3 in a row in the middle of it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm only working with the outside ones first. Okay. Right. Okay, let me show you the blue ones. This is what your circle looks like. Except yours is all one color. Right? The first thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm only going to work with the red ones, which also includes the purple. All right? Now, here's the way I go through my circle. We have to write down degrees. You'll see the degree sign on your unit circle. We have to write down radians that we just learned about yesterday. And we have to write down the coordinate for each angle. So there's 4 pieces of information for each angle. And there's 6 actually for 0. And I'll show you where that is. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. We always start over here on the right side. And our first angle is 0. Right over there. There are 2 blanks there. The top one you put 0 degrees. Okay, just refer to the screen.
Oh, you're right. Is it right there?
No, on the degree, where the degree sign is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start working my way around the circle, and the red and the purple put together, they are all 30 degrees apart. So the first one is 30 degrees. As I start going around the circle, what do you think my next red line is going to be? 60 degrees.
There's 3. You got 2.
I know. I have not. The middle one we're not doing yet.
Okay.
So you should be putting 30 and then skipping 1 and then putting 60. The purple counts as a red because purple is kind of red. So what am I going to put on the purple line? 90. Then the next red line, 120. And we just keep walking our way around the circle. Okay, so this would be 150. This over here, 180. Down here, 210. Down here, 240. 270. 300. 330. And then the second blank at the end, how many degrees are in a circle? 360. So the second blank on that purple one on the right is 360 degrees. Now we are going to do the degrees for the blue. And purple is kind of blue, so the purple counts for the blue too. So those are 45 apart. So my first middle angle is 45 degrees. My next blue angle is the purple one, and we already have that one written down. It's 90. That would be when we add a 45. What's my next blue angle going to be? 135. And then the next one would be the purple. where we get 180. And then 180 plus 45 is 225. The next one would be the 270. 270 plus 45 would be 300. 315. Now we're going to do the radians, which yesterday we learned the radian measures, and we're going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to put these in green on the screen. This would be the dash that's right by degrees, not the one in the parentheses. We're going to do the parentheses last. So we could sit here all day and convert all these degrees to radians, like we did on our homework yesterday, but we're just going to learn how to memorize them. Each 30-degree angle increases 1/6 pi when you go from one to the other. So the first one is 1/6 pi, which is pi over 6. Just happened. The next one is 0 is 0. Yeah, I didn't put that in there. 0 is 0. You're right. 0 radians. So now, by the 0, so it would be,
That one?
yeah, well, you have it in the right spot. Now, the 60, we're going to add a 6. What's 1/6 plus 1/6? 2/6.
Could you put 1/3 down?
And you must reduce the 2/6 to 1/3. So you're going to have to, so it would be 2/6 pi, like you see up there. Yeah, we're going to go back around and hit those. But the 2/6 reduces to 1/3. So you're not going to write 2/6. The 90 is the next one. What is another sixth added on? 3/6, which reduces to 1/2. So 90 is 1/2 pi. See how we're counting by a sixth? So the 120 is how many sixths? 4/6, which reduces to 2/3. I'm trying to write these wherever I have room here on my circle. Then you skip the blue and you go to the 150, which is how many sixths? 5/6. And then the 180 counts, and that's how many sixths? 6/6, which is 1 pi. And as we learned yesterday, pi radians is 180 degrees, which we talked about that yesterday. So on the red, you'll see we counted by a sixth each time, reducing those fractions, but we're only half done. So now we have to keep going. How many sixths would be for the 210? 7. 7/6 does not reduce, so you leave it 7 pi over 6. 240 would be 8/6, and 8/6 is 4/3. Okay? I'm not teaching how to reduce fractions now. That was 5th grade. Your calculator knows how to do it if you can't do it in your head. 270 would be 9/6, which 9/6 reduces to 3/2. Notice we are not writing 1.5 or any mixed numbers. We are keeping them as improper fractions. 3 pi over 2. 300, how many sixths are we on? 10. So 10/6 reduces to 5/3. 10/6, the 300, we're on 10/6. 330 would be what? How many sixths? 11/6, and that does not reduce, so it's 11 pi over 6. And then 360 would be 12/6, which is what?
2 pi.
2 pi. Yes, ma'am. For the 45s, instead of counting by sixths, we count by fourths. So 45 is pi over 4, or 1/4 pi. 90 would be 2/4, which of course reduces to 1/2, which is what it already says on 90. So now 135 is how many fourths? 3/4. Notice I'm not memorizing all these numbers. I'm counting around the circle. I have to remember to go by fourths and sixths. 180 would be 4/4, which is already on there. It's pi. What about 225? 5/4. 270 would be 6/4, which is already on there, 3/2. And then 315 would be 7/4. And then 360 would be 8/4, which is 2 pi. Okay? All right, to do the coordinates, and we'll put those in orange since I don't have any orange up there. First of all, we're going to deal with the purple ones. And you have to think about it as if you were going to plot this point out here on 0. 0, 0 is the intersection at the center of the circle. And if I was going to go out to the orange dot that way, is that the x coordinate or the y coordinate? X. And it's 1. So this point is 1, 0. Because it's a unit circle. That means it's 1 unit of a radius. Now, knowing that, let's use some smarts here. What is the dot up at 90?
0, 1.
It's going to be 0, 1, because you're just plotting points, remember? I'm going to kind of fit this stuff in where I can up here on the picture. Now, does anybody know what 180 would be? Yeah, we're back to going on the x-axis. It's going to be -1, 0. And then using all of that logic, 270 would then be 0, -1. Okay? You just have to think about how to plot points and use that knowledge to your advantage. We're going to go around using the 30s first, and then we're going to do the 45s, just like we did for the angles. Okay? Now, our goal is to graph this point. All right, well, how am I going to get there? I'm going to start at the center, and I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to go this way. Which way was longer? The first or the second thing I did? The first thing. Okay? So what you have to be able to do, looking at these points, is tell, did I go long way, short way, or short way, long way? That's all you have to be able to figure out. The long way is always √3/2. The short way is always 1/2. And so for the red angles, the 30-degree angles, we have to figure out which way we went first, and the long distance is always √3/2, and the short distance is always 1/2. So now if I go to 60, starting at 0, 0, it looks to me, let me change colors here so we can see what I'm doing. We're going to go short, long. So, given that information, what do you think the coordinate is for 60?
1/2.
1/2, comma, root 3 over 2. I'm going to try to fit this in here. Can you even see that, or is it too small? Positive 1/2, positive root 3 over 2. How am I going to get to 120? Colton?
Wouldn't you do it negative 1/2?
Yes, you're going to go negative short, positive long, because you're going left. So for 120, it's going to be negative 1/2, positive root 3 over 2. Does anybody know how we would get to 150? What are we doing to get out there? What do you think we're going to do? Anybody have any ideas? Colton.
Negative square root of 3 over 2.
Uh-huh.
1/2.
So we're going negative long distance, positive short distance. So that, by definition of what I told you, is negative root 3 over 2, positive 1/2. Why is it negative root 3 over 2? Because I'm going left. I'm going backwards. The positive ones in the first quadrant were positive because we were going right. Now in the second quadrant, to get there, we have to go left. So our x-coordinate is going to be negative. For 210, we are going left and down. So what is that going to mean for our y-coordinate? It's going to be negative. So what's my coordinate for 210? I went negative long, negative short. So that would be negative root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. I want you to write the coordinate for 240. All right, we should be going negative short, negative long for 240, and that is negative 1/2, negative root 3 over 2. Did you have that correct? Okay. For 300, I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. We're going to go positive short, negative long. Positive short is 1/2. Negative long, negative root 3 over 2. Are you with me there? It's the same thing. We're just going around the circle, around and around and around and around. And then the last one in the reds is 330, which is positive long, root 3 over 2, negative short, negative 1/2. Okay? Alec, you with me?
Yeah, for 60 is that?
I'm going to give you some information. We have the 45 coordinates to do. That should be the only thing left on your unit circle, the coordinates for the 45s. Every 45, the number is the same. Root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. The only difference is on 135, 225, and 315, you have to have your signs correct. So I want you to write down the coordinates for 135, 225, and 315. All of them are root 2 over 2, but you have to decide where the positives and the negatives go. See if you can fill those out. Okay, for 135, I have negative, positive. You agree? Yeah. For 225, I have negative, negative. Bam. And then for 315, I have positive, negative.